What is going on? Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to talk to you about Lucid. Break it down on what's really moving the market today, go over some of the data points and everything else you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. So Lucid is pulling back slightly, 2.25%, 281 the low, 290 the high. Market's been open around 45 minutes and 5.7 million shares being traded. So today is going to be a kind of low volume. What's moving the market is data. So you had non-farm payroll coming in a little bit lower than anticipated, so 143,000 versus 205,000 the forecast. Unemployment on the flip side was rather positive, so 4% versus a forecast of 4.1. So generally good data for the unemployment. So the market was actually rallying because of that. But if you kind of see right here, Lucid and many other stocks are just dropping like a rock because of this. So Michigan consumer sentiment forecast was 72, came in at 67.8. So signaling more of a worry in the broader market and potentially a slowdown. So not the best type of data, but aside from that, no official news from Lucid itself, no SEC filings. Couple unofficial things that I wanted to kind of share with you. One is this right here. So Dragon Wang did post this on StockTwits, and shout out to this individual right here, Loot Boss, who kind of brought it to my attention. But it does show total sales for Lucid Motors in January 2025 across all the countries mentioned. So you have Germany, Netherlands, Canada, Saudi, and the States. Germany is sitting at 19, Netherlands 6, Canada 478, Saudi Arabia 1,095, and then the States 665, bringing the grand total 2,200 and change for January. Although, just to play devil's advocate, I live in Canada, and as far as I'm aware, there is no real compiled data for Canada. Same goes for Saudi Arabia. I was very much wanting to know that information. I know the States, Netherlands, and Germany has that, but I don't know where they are getting these numbers from. So let me know your viewpoint on that in the comments below, if you think that this is valid or not. And if so, then this is definitely a huge step in the right direction. And most likely, again, if this is accurate, they'll probably be at roughly around that 25,000 for 2025. But we'll just have to wait and see. Also, on a positive note, not if you're investing in Tesla, but essentially Tesla numbers have been going down across Europe, and even I believe in the States and just Canada. So I don't know if it's political linked to that, or if it's actually just maybe Tesla's time. I know in China itself as well, data just came out saying their sales went down 11.5% year over year. So I think just Tesla is struggling. So potentially this might be Lucid's time to strike, take some market share. I know a lot of Chinese EVs are moving higher because they see this as a very bullish thing, that maybe Tesla can't really cut the competition anymore. No, let me know your viewpoint on that. Moving over to shorts. Shorts are currently increasing 152,000 shares. 22.9% of the free float is being shorted. Works out to be 273 million shares overall are being shorted. Utilization 93.25. And just through here, available shares in excess of 10 million. So if they really wanted to double down, they definitely could. So let me know your viewpoint on that. Moving over to options, 41,000 in calls, 17,000 in puts. Seems to be 50-50 between calls and puts, so not necessarily the best. And today seems to be low volume, and that's been something that's been more of a common occurrence. You have occasionally now above 1 million for premiums, but it's been very low. So I think just everyone is just waiting for Lucid's upcoming earnings just to say, hey, we're good, or hey, time to panic, let's kind of sell off. So I think it's just kind of stuck in limbo. Of the call options that are being purchased, you see roughly around $3 range is anticipated, and then the bears are anticipating for it to be sub 250. But like I mentioned, with the low volume, not really much to analyze. With today being Friday, just take note of some of these. So you have 5,000 in open interest at that 250 strike price, 25,000 at that 3, then 7,000 at that 350. So again, just analyze that. I don't see Lucid having a run to $3 So if they do, for whatever reason today, you might see shorts get a little bit more active just to try to ensure it is suppressed below that price. But these are all the transactions occurring on the secondary market above $100,000. So you have a solid one transaction. So the big, obviously, things that is moving Lucid, algorithmic trading, as well as shorts. So yeah, big money is not really getting behind Lucid and buying potentially this news or whatever else. As far as right now, with it at $2.85, it is trading between this R1 and the pivot. 279 is going to be the next strong support. 291 followed by 299 is going to be the next strong target / resistance points. Moving over here, no new analyst ratings, nothing like that. So right now with that 285, it is below the ALMA, so that's sitting at 288. So this blue line right over here, if you guys can see that. And then aside from that, the dark blue line, so that is 279, that is that 100-day moving average. So it's kind of just wedge bound between those 2 points, so just watch for it to close above this ALMA, signaling maybe another breakout. Over the last couple of trading days, it did actually want to move higher, just it always gets slammed back down below this 200-day moving average. So that is at 294, so that is going to be a very key pivot for Lucid. So let me know your thoughts on Lucid. What's your general kind of mentality for this? Do you think this is accurate, or do you think it's just fluff? I know a lot of people have been asking for sources for all this information, and I don't think they've responded, but I know for a fact Germany, Netherlands, and the States, we always do have pretty credible sources for that. Canada and Saudi Arabia, as far as I'm aware, I don't think there's any compiled information for that, but I don't know. Let me know your viewpoint on all that. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. Hopefully everyone also has a good Friday, good weekend, and everything else. One final thing, pop over to my Discord, completely free, link in the description below and also the comments. A lot of good people, a lot of good chat, and so yeah, just join there, and there's a lot of good kind of conversations, learning about options and whatever else. With all that said, appreciate all of you watching.